welcome to Saturday afternoon. As you may have guessed from the title, we are expecting a massive cold snap and snowstorm this weekend, so I thought, what better weather for all the reading and crafting and general lazing about that I have been craving, and what a delight to bring you all with me. Oh my gosh, I did not put my tinted lip balm on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's not that I'm so terribly vain, but hydration is the name of the game this weekend. Because if you haven't heard about the massive storm heading through most of the US, certainly the East Coast where I am, it is a whopping, I'm going to be doing a lot of calculations from my weather app and on a calculator. So it is currently 11 degrees Fahrenheit here. However, with the wind chill, apparently it feels like -3. I will put some math on the screen to show you exactly how cold that is in Celsius if you are outside the US. And this is about as warm as it's going to get today. We have reached the high. It is going to get colder from here. And tomorrow, my weather app simply says, chance of snow 100%, snow accumulation of a foot or more. That's the most snow we've gotten in a very long time. Nothing we can't handle. We're not having the massive freakouts like a lot of certainly the southern states have, who are not used to this kind of weather at all. But it's still interesting, exciting, I will say. I may or may not have school on Monday, and Tuesday is a bit of a question mark, quite honestly. So I have been craving to keep working on my cross stitch and to finish books. I don't feel like I have finished as many books as I would like to, and I also feel like I am drowning in possibilities right now. So I thought I'd bring you all along on the adventure and to kind of have you act as my accountability buddies. First, however, I need to film my February TBR because that needs to go up online tomorrow. I'm also having trouble deciding what should go on that. This is terrible. I have 2 books that I definitely want to read, and it will have gone up by this point, so I'll just show you. So I know I definitely want to read Gabriela and His Grace and the next Anton Dubek series. So these are both romances as well. So I'm torn. Do I go entirely romance for the month of February? Do I throw in whatever I feel like? But then if I throw in whatever I feel like, honestly, I've been craving reading a lot of the new books that I was given or have purchased with birthday or Christmas money. But I also don't want to run through all of my new books and leave all of my old books sitting there, because that's how I got such a massive TBR in the first place. So I don't know. Do I say this is a pile of possibilities and then mood read from there? I never knew I was this much of a mood reader, and I don't know what to do with that. I also have library holds that might come in during that time. For example, I am 80% of the way through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell on my reread listen, so that means I have probably 6 or 7 hours left. I know, I'm a middle school teacher. I know what went through a lot of your heads just then. However, Tim Curry's Memoir Vagabond just came in for me this morning, so I will probably have to pause that, start reading Tim Curry. So will Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell carry over into February? Will I cave and just read the physical book this weekend? I don't know. Emma Donohue's The Paris Express will probably come in for me during February. Honestly, The Hounding by Zenobi Purvis might come in February. It could also be March, I don't know. All that to say, I have been craving doing a lot of reading, but I have not been able to decide on what to read or what I want to do or when I want to do it, and thus it keeps getting pushed off a little bit. So I am going to look through my stacks for a second and figure myself out, and then get back to you after I have filmed my TBR. Okay, video is filmed And now I'm gonna go watch some trashy reality TV while I edit that and get that uploaded. And then let me show you my reading choices at the moment, because that's another part of this whole dilemma. Okay, so here we have my choices. I am currently about 80% of the way through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. That's about 6.5 hours worth of listening, because I'm rereading it on audiobook and then just moving the bookmark. So I could end up listening to it later. I could just binge these last 100 or so pages, especially if, God forbid, the power goes out with the storm. Please, God, no, but just in case. I am also technically supposed to be reading Clanlands by Sam Heughan and Graham McTavish, but I haven't really been touching it because I have an ARC to work through at the moment, which is on my iPad. It's a digital ARC, so I can't show it to you. But it is, I will put the cover here. It is Rules of the Heart by Janice Hadlow. I'm not really loving it, and I'll tell you more perhaps later, perhaps in my January wrap-up. But I've read another third of it this morning, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through now, and I really just want to push through and read that final third so I can put my thoughts together for the review that needs to go on NetGalley. So that's definitely my reading goal for today. After that, I might listen to something while I embroider. I might just watch TV while I work on my cross stitch. Haven't figured that out yet. But I'm so close to finishing. I don't know. So I will finish Rules of the Heart and edit my February TBR, and then I'll see what I feel like. All right, let's do this. Okay, so folks, it is a few hours later. We had a lovely cozy dinner. I now have 20% of my ARC left, so good progress on that. While I was filming, however, my parents went to the library to stock up. Some people go to the supermarket, we go to the library. So tell us what you got. What are you going to read through the storm, possibly?
Well, I went there with the intention of not bringing home very much, and I ended up bringing home more than I intended, which is usually what happens. This is an author whose name was familiar to me. It's called Ruth's Journey by Donald McCaig. Excuse I haven't put a proper bookmark in. I'm using a coaster. You know, needs must when the devil drives. Anyway, apparently it's called Ruth's Journey, the authorized novel of Mammy from Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. And that was intriguing to me because I liked her character, and I thought Hattie MacDonald did a fine job and never did get the credit she deserved for what she had completed. So I thought, let me read this, and it's really very interesting. And it starts when Ruth, we find out she has a name, Ruth is adopted by this French couple and taken to America, and her life. And that's as far as I've gotten, is now they are living in Georgia, and things are not going well financially for the couple who have adopted her. And the word enslaved has not come up yet, but clearly that's coming. But anyway, this is intriguing, and I liked it. And I could not resist Dick Van Dyke. I mean, honestly, the man's 100 years old, and he's absolutely adorable. And, 100 rules for living to 100. And it's really very nice. I don't think I even stuck anything in this one. I'm about 50 pages in, and it's adorable. And it's Dick Van Dyke at his centennial.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually got that on hold, but that won't come in for a couple months.
Yeah.
So.
And I like Dan Brown, but I haven't read anything recently, and this, I guess, is his newest, The Secret of Secrets. And when I work Wednesday nights at the library, my friend Ellen was extolling the virtues of this book and said how wonderful it was. But at the library where I work, there's a very long hold list for it. So we went to a neighboring library, and there it was, sitting on the shelf. So that was quite nice. I was happy to find it. Have not started this. Possibly tomorrow. We'll see. And I can't leave without a cookbook. So this one I looked really quite interesting. Baking and the Meaning of Life I'm not familiar with Helen Go, but it looks interesting in that the titles, it's not your standard, cookies, yeast breads, and that. It's giving, receiving, sharing, traditions, remembering and continuity, ritual and tradition, nurturing. And I thought, that's an intriguing way to arrange a cookbook. So I've no idea, but we have plenty of butter and flour and eggs in the house, so we'll see what happens. Okay, and now,
Cool.
Well-
From you, sir.
Well, from me,
let me make some room here
first
for you.
of all,
Right.
I plan on reading that Dan Brown book.
Okay, reading the Dan Brown book, okay.
We're both interested in that. Next, there's another book that we are both interested in. Usually, Joanne picks the cookbooks, but I picked up a book on 6 seasons of pasta because I could not resist reading about all these different pasta recipes.
Okay.
So I think we're both going to enjoy
Oh, I think so.
looking at this one.
No.
He agrees with your suggestion about never using the cheese in the green can.
Oh, never
Oh,
use the
God,
cheese in the
no.
green can. I don't know what it is.
Most serious chefs will tell you never do that.
I don't know what it
know.
is, but it's not cheese.
I know,
Don't buy
but
it.
I laughed at his story about how he grew up on that.
A lot of people did.
Let's see. Next, I'm currently reading a book by S.J. Bennett called The Queen Who Came In From the Cold. It's another in the series of the Her Majesty the Queen Investigates.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you two are loving that one. I didn't love the one that came before that.
I loved this one though.
This one's pretty good.
I really enjoyed it.
Pretty good. I mean, it's nothing stupendous, but it's a quick, enjoyable read.
I think it was just the shift that got to me.
Well,
Of going, no, I miss Ruth. She's not my queen anymore. Now that she's her younger self.
that's true. That's true. I can see that. But I can remember seeing her in newsreels when I was a little kid
Right.
in this stage of her life.
Right.
Yeah. And I like Joan. So, anyway.
Anyway, so there's that book. I picked up another Michael Connolly book from the library. I've read basically just about all the books that they have at our local libraries by Michael Connolly. I'll see if I like this book. A lot of them, they're definitely forming a pattern. So we'll see if I like this one or not. And then next is a book called The Haves and Have-Yots. I liked the play on words in the title. It's a book all about people who you sort of wonder, who are these people who own all these yachts in Monaco and places like that. This book attempts to explain that, and I'm kind of interested in the results because even here in the U.S., we'll drive through neighborhoods, and I think, how I can see 1 or 2 people being rich enough to own homes in this neighborhood of let's say a particularly affluent neighborhood, but how can everybody in town afford this?
Yep.
So anyway, so that looked interesting, and then finally, a book called The Rembrandt Heist. And it is about, haven't read anything of it yet, but according to the little flap, it's about a famous painting heist that took place in Boston several years ago.
I think I remember reading about that.
And so it's sort of a follow-up to things I've read about other art theft in the past.
Okay. How recently published as well?
This is a new one.
It's a new book.
Right, but how recently? I'm thinking, would it take in, the theft at the Louvre
Well,
recently?
I don't know if it's that new.
Oh, I don't know if it's that recent.
Because that would fit in quite nicely, but it would depend when it was published.
Yeah, this is 2025,
That just
November
happened a few months ago.
2025. The Louvre theft was only a couple months ago.
Yeah, so maybe, but probably not.
Probably
cool.
not. Rembrandt just
So
makes me giggle anyway.
those are the books that I acquired today.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we'll be checking in every now and again, letting you know how much of those we've gotten through and how much snow we've got. So, see you in a bit. Alright, it has been a very snowy, very cold morning. Let's do some reading check-ins. How are we all doing?
Well, I started this yesterday, the Dick Van Dyke book about 100 Rules for Living to 100. It was a quick read, lots of very short chapters. It was adorable, it was sweet, it was poignant. It's a quick read and I really enjoyed it, so I would recommend this one highly.
So you finished it?
I did.
Wow.
Well, it's not a large book to start with,
no, but
I
over
started
here.
it yesterday.
Bear in mind, folks, I have done no reading today, so
Well, you've been busy doing other
you're
things.
making me look like a slacker here. Okay, carry on.
Okay, and this book, Baking and the Meaning of Life, I mean, I just loved the title. And while the recipes do sound good, they're not practical for us as a family. I can get around a lot of things, but there's a lot of nuts, a lot of sour cream, and it sounds fabulous, but just not
But
for
absolutely
us.
not for me.
Yes, with Heather's allergies, and some of the ingredients are a little esoteric for my pantry as well. I can't think of any examples right now, but I do think it's a really interesting idea, and I think she's probably a very good baker, just not for us.
Yeah.
And this one, Ruth's Journey, by Donald McCaig. This is the story about Mammy and her life before Scarlett O'Hara. I'm enjoying it so much more than I thought I would. It's really very interesting. I'm about half through. I've heard of the author, and now that I've looked at the front of the book and seen the other things that he's written, it's like, oh, the light's gone on. Yes, I do remember some of the other things I've seen at the library. So I might go back to it. Apparently he's written another one. On the back of the book it says, Rhett Butler's People. So apparently she has a fascination with Gone with the Wind. So I thought, well, when I finish this one, maybe I'll read that one as
I
well.
remember Rhett Butler's People. Wasn't that huge years ago?
It may have been. It's
Or
ringing.
was that just Rhett?
There was something
There was-
about Rhett Butler. I don't know if it was this
Right.
one.
There
But
might have been more than one. I don't know.
I'm enjoying this one, so I thought, well, maybe I'll look for the other one.
Right.
And I've gotten as far as putting a bookmark in it, but I have not started Dan Brown.
Thank God.
But, I
What?
read fast.
I know you do.
Why do you say thank God?
Well, just blowing through things. I'm going, I haven't
Well,
touched anything.
A cookbook doesn't really count. You're not reading a cookbook, you are looking at a cookbook, so that is different. And so, that's what I've done so far.
My end for reading, I finished the book, The Queen Who Came In From the Cold.
Nice.
It was an enjoyable, quick read. At first, I wasn't sure I was liking the book, but once I got further along in the story, I enjoyed it, and it was an enjoyable read.
Good.
So I finished that, and I am about
See,
25% of the way through the book called 6 Seasons of Pasta.
see, you go through a cookbook differently than I do.
Well,
He's got
I
a
know.
bookmark in it.
Yeah, I've got a bookmark because I finished a certain section, and I'm going to look through the rest, at different points. But so far as cookbooks go, I've been enjoying this one. It has a lot of what look like very yummy recipes. There are various meat sauces, various pastas that are vegetarian, discussions of the different cheeses, whether you want Parmesan or whether you want, what's the one we use, the Romano?
Romano.
Romano. The author actually uses a 50-50 blend. He thinks that's best.
Never considered that.
And but there are various pastas, whether it's vegetarian, whether it's meat-based. There are lamb pastas. There's veal pastas. There's all sorts of pastas with and without cheese. And, well, cheese is sometimes optional. But so far, so good. It all sounds delicious. I think it's one of those books you can't read straight through because then you want to just
Make
make
everything.
more pasta.
Not necessarily a terrible thing, but there we are.
So that, that's been my reading, and then I was just catching up on my YouTube videos. I like watching a couple of YouTube videos about retirement planning, because that will be in my future.
There we are.
Yeah, very nice. So as I said, I have done none because I've been doing YouTube stuff, admin stuff, emails, the like. But we just got the call that there is no school tomorrow.
Yay.
So I am going to curl up, and I don't know what I'm going to read. It could be Clanlands, could be Jonathan Strange. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. Those of you wondering how the snow is progressing, that is what has blown in through the screen. Oh, there was a lot of snow stacked up on the screen on that side, but you can't see it now. So yes, considerably more on the ground outside. So if you want a size perspective, that is where the snow is on my father and his car. Hi everyone. I have been really terrible at vlogging this weekend. I think I've just, excuse my mother's phone, I have just been sitting with a lot of really heavy emotions, I think. And it's a combination of a lot of things, and none of them I can really help. So I dealt with them today by not doing a lot of reading, but by doing an awful lot of cross-stitch work, which is really, really good. So I'll show you what I've been doing. I have two of these. These are based on, I think you can see them in mugs, and I have the mugs as well. I have one for Shakespeare. I finished the whole thing. I'm working on the outlining. I've done the outlining on this side, but I need to work on this side next. It looks like so. So I finished that bottom corner there today. So now I just need to work my way up the other side at some point. I also have the Jane Austen one that looks like this, which is in exactly the same state. I just need to do the outlining on that side. In terms of reading, I, as predicted, have come to a bit of a crossroads because I have been reading Clanlands. There's the title. I took the dust jacket off. I'm not loving it. It has to be said. To be fair, I didn't watch the series, and maybe it would be funnier if I had watched the series, but just the endless ribbing of each other is really getting to me. I feel like the inclusion of New Zealand history, especially of colonization and the interactions between the white settlers and the Maori people are very necessary, and I'm glad that they included them. But it also feels very disjointed. I'm not getting a good sense of the flow or the progression of any of these events. So I will plug through to the end and finish it at some point, but I just wasn't feeling like doing that today. I read the first bit of the first chapter of Desperate Remedies, and that was feeling really good, and I was hoping to at least finish the first chapter tonight, because I do have to go to work in the morning, although it is a delay, so that'll at least be nice. But then, after dinner, I got the notification that The Paris Express by Emma Donoghue is ready for me. My hold has come in, so that will obviously have to be read first because there's a due date on that. So all that to say, my reading life is still in shambles, but in the best possible way, I think. So I'm gonna have a quick shower, hopefully do some reading, and watch some cozy TV before going to bed. I just realized I had to record a video of me reading something for my classes tomorrow, so I did that really quickly. And yeah, I might record more for this vlog. I might leave it there, but this is probably the last time I'm talking to you, so thank you so much for coming along on this random snowy vlog of a weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like my vlogs are always kind of random and scattered, so if you have any advice. Also, in terms of advice, for my reading tracker online, it has me catalog the author's nation of origin. What would you have me do for Emma Donoghue? Because I can't remember what I've been doing. Because she is originally Irish, but she is also a Canadian citizen, so I don't know how to categorize her, and I cannot put both. I can only put one in the spreadsheet. So let me know your thoughts if you have any. And as always, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye, everyone.